Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Just finished up a pound and a half of, actually not ground beef, but steak today. Really fucking good. Holy shit, man. What have I been missing out on? I think it's time to make the switch. Go from bison to straight up just massive steaks in my face. And hey, as always, do want to wish you all on this nice start to your week. I believe it is Monday. At least that's what my computer does say. Monday the 29th. And of course, we got plenty to talk about with Bitcoin right now. But actually, I just got done recording another psychological video. So if you actually do have, if you do have any topics for that you like to bring up, certainly do feel free to send them my way on via Discord, as that is actually how this last topic was kind of born from. So if I do feel like I have something to say about it, I will be happy to make a video, and if not, then perhaps something for me to look into as well. Anyways, with all of that said, as we fly over the beautiful, oh my god, man, Millennium Park is just so goddamn gorgeous, isn't it? Even a nice little foggy day like it is right now. Actually, I do want to wish you all on this nice little Monday. Let's get into the charts. Let's talk about some goddamn magic and net money. As always, wish you the best, the happiest, the happiest, and whoa, hey, are we flying off into the fucking ethers of Dribbit? Well, yes, indeed we are. And as we can see right here, a little bit of proof of trade, as always, started off Bitcoin, or sorry, my positions on Dribbit. Basically just doing the same thing that I did for the past couple weeks. I did have to cover some of my spot long positions just because, it's the same positions that I've been holding from like 51.50 or whatever the fuck it is, and then 39.30. I'll have to go check actually later. I don't know exactly what it is in my streamer account, but somewhere around there. So that's why I sold these deep in the money ones right now. But I do want to protect myself against that, and a little bit of out of the money premium right here. Just basically doing the same thing that I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, and actually right now printing about a one spot 368, basically one spot for almost 1.5 Bitcoin profit P&L on Monday. So it's quite early in the week, and I'm quite happy about that. We do see Theta is coming in around almost 3,400. So if you're familiar with what that means, or if you've gone through the options playlist, you'll know that Theta means that that's the amount that goes into my account with each and every passing settlement period. So again, time decay working for you rather than against you. Gotta fucking love it, man. And that's why I like to play options overall when we're kind of doing nothing really, as far as Bitcoin price action is concerned. I think it's just best to be playing options and kind of profit from the lack of volatility, or I wouldn't necessarily say that we have a lack of volatility right now, but the lack of actual massive moves. You profit from being in a range rather than needing a big move in order to make some money. So it's a little bit like a little bit more easy on the soul way of doing this, and I found it quite helpful for myself, especially during these times. So with that said, I'm gonna get on over into the actual charts themselves. And let's talk about some goddamn magic and money right on over here on the. Let's start off with the daily. And Bitcoin has, while Bitcoin, don't get me wrong, this chart looks like it wants to come lower. Just get that out of the way. Do I think that it wants to come lower on this fucking tick right here, right now? No. I mean, you're probably seeing it all the way around, all the crypto YouTubes, all the crypto Reddits, all the crypto Twitters, all these great social media venues, highly altruistic places, talking about shorting here or looking to short here, some shit like that. I just feel like everyone and their mother's expecting lower prices right now. I think 8,500 is on the top of everyone's mind. It's like everyone's thinking there, man, or a little bit lower than that. I've seen a bunch of people start to adopt like 7,500 as well, or 7,200, which is possible, absolutely. But when everyone's kind of thinking the same thing, and while I would overall agree that this chart does look like one's coming a little bit further down, do not underestimate the amount of time that Bitcoin can go sideways here and just really frustrate all these people, whether you're both bullish or bearish. Because at the end of the day, Bitcoin's been fucking boorish, man. It's just been operating in a range between about 11,000 and 9,000 base over the past couple weeks, and just tighten it up a little bit more and more with each and every passing day. So right now, yes, we did just test the major support coming in right around about 91.50. By the way, if you were on, I should also make this announcement as well. If you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing on, or I guess there's like a difference between subscriptions and follows on Twitch, but whatever the free one is, just fucking follow on Twitch, just because I've actually started to do these, just like impromptu streams every once in a while. Like I'll be playing a game, kind of waiting for a trade, and because it's kind of like really the best thing to be doing, actually, just fucking occupy your time, and then I'll just start up a stream and go live, and we'll talk some Bitcoin, and then wait around for the trades, which sometimes happen, sometimes don't. Yesterday we actually got pretty damn lucky catching this whole wick to the downside here, so a lot of people getting in, myself included, right around 91.50ish region, which I was pretty damn happy about. I actually ended up scalping that one away, because one of my rules is that as long as we are below the daily 21 exponential moving average, this yellow moving average right here, I'm not really interested in holding any medium or long-term longs on this asset. We'll play some short-term scalps, absolutely. short-term play is still very much valid. But at the end of the day, I don't really see like a major trending play until we get actually back above the yellow 21 on the daily, which is now coming in right around about about 10,200. So we could actually really synthesize this whole video down. If you wanted to just look at this video and say, Krown, go fuck yourself, but first tell me something that you think about Bitcoin. Here's what I'd say. I'd say this, man. Hey, you know, as long as we're above the cyan 89 and below the yellow 21, I don't see any sort of major, you know, medium or even long-term or even medium-term move to be born. And very obviously the 89's, governing our lows. If we do break the 89, then yes, I do think that an appropriate target is going to be deep into the 8,000s, 8,500, extremely like that point in time, perhaps even low 8,000s, you know, somewhere in this zone right here, very fucking likely. By the same token, if Bitcoin actually were to pop back up and even regain the 21 exponential moving average on the daily on a closing basis, as you can see, wicks need not apply, then yes, I actually I'd probably start a medium or long-term long, and I'd probably target a move back towards about north of 11,000, actually back around here. But right now, you know, obviously closer to support than the resistance, you know, makes everyone's a little bit on the bearish side, right? It's always like an ever-changing game. You know, if you have like one day that's like big up, everyone gets super bullish. If you have one day that's big down, everyone gets super bearish, right? Okay, so the thing is that when we're looking at the daily right here, I think it's quite a sombering effect that I'm just not confident that Bitcoin has the momentum to actually break this support just yet. Yes, this is a bearish formation. Yes, it would imply lower. Yes, it does, for all intents and purposes, look like it wants to go lower. But do we go lower right here, right now? Like actually timing a trade? I'd say I'd say it's actually quite unlikely in my opinion. We do see daily Stokes they're really starting to get a little bit tired here. Now they aren't that crazy down or anything like that, but we actually do see them hit at across the upside more importantly. So we will be getting the next daily dodo tick in 1 hour and 20 minutes according to my phone. And if that's going to be happening, oh come on, please, oh man, motherfucker. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this package all day, and it's just got a text, and it's not my package. It's not my package. What the fuck? That's annoying. Anyways, so if we do see this next tick in 1 hour and 20 minutes actually to the upside here, I think that would be a pretty damn good signal that we're not going to see this breakdown right here, right now. We're probably going to actually move back up and test around maybe like 98, maybe 99, something like that. We also see daily RSI printing a little bit of hidden bullish divergence here. It's extreme. Do we even have it? Is it present? Let me actually confirm this. We have 41.72 right there on that spike. We got 41.46. Actually, we do not have hidden bullish divergence present here. Sorry, I do take that back. That is that would be actually wrong. But more importantly, we do see daily historical volatility percentile actually getting below the moving average. And we've been living below the moving average for the past 5 days now. That is a change of behavior with regards to what we're looking at. What do I mean by that? Well, that means that this whole formation here is actually getting more and more mature in what we're doing. So we likely do see an explosion relatively soon. I'd say within like the next couple weeks. Above or below one of these two moving averages, and that's gonna really dictate the next couple of months of price action. Longer term, I am biased to the upside, so you know it is kind of a ticking time bomb here. If Bitcoin's gonna play out like a really prolonged downside move, kind of corrective move to the downside, as this price action right here is corrective as fuck. If you want to look at if you want to look at dictionary and look at what the definition of corrective price action is, this would be it, and that would imply a more bullish resolution over time. But just like I said, don't underestimate the time that Bitcoin can really draw out going sideways. Also, don't underestimate the depth of which this correction can go to. Of which, yes, I do think this is a correction. Yes, I do think that we get bullish continuation overall on the macro, which that's we're judging like months away. But for right now in the lower time frames, does that really help all that much? Talking about shit that's months away? No, not at all. Of course, not at all. But we do see a bunch of things here that are quite compelling with resolving this relatively soon. So looking at the volume signature right here, we do see that nice orderly drop off in volume, and we're kind of running out of space to fill this out, but probably another spike to the upside, which could for all intents and purposes meet up with another test of this trend line here, maybe in the daily 21. But until we actually start to see volume spikes that go through this trend line here and perhaps like get around what we saw on the 10th of July especially, or even better, could see some that we got akin to on the 26th of June, that would be a damn good indication that we're actually moving out of this formation. And right now, we just don't have it. In fact, as you can see, it's had that nice orderly drop off in volume, which is indicative of a consolidation, indicative of in this case a corrective consolidation. So again, I really don't want to get lost in the conversation, because I think a lot of people are really looking for this next big downside move. It could very just as easily be that Bitcoin actually put in the low yesterday and we actually move up from here. Now, I say that, and do I believe that? No, actually I don't. The reason why I don't believe it is because of the weekly right here. And the reason why I don't believe that on the weekly is the weekly looks pretty nasty. We did close our first weekly diddle below the red 10 simple yesterday night, confirmed. So I do think that any sort of upside move on this current week does end up getting faded. But remember, even if we get a move to the upside, doesn't mean, even if it gets faded, doesn't mean that we just break down from here, right now. It can still take a little bit of time. And more importantly, we have very, obvious, well-defined areas to be going off of. If we're going off the daily, it would be the 89 exponential moving average, which is somewhere, well, it's kind of like low 9150 which region. If we go on like a 4 hour, it's probably around 9400, which we'll get into in just a second. But first, I want to talk about this as it's just why I do think it's certainly not people who are looking for lower prices. There is vindication for this, right? I've been talking about this for a while. If you want the full-on explanation, definitely go to my definitely go to the video that I uploaded yesterday in the long-term analysis playlist, as it'll go into much more depth with examples, but I don't want to do the whole examples here. But as far as the weekly jewel is concerned, we have a very specific scenario where we see, four different things kind of align, which produces a 100% accurate move. It's so far in the history of Bitcoin. We see the light blue oscillator get into the critical zone above the 80 marker. It gets it flashes red in the background as an alert, and then we get a negative slope on that same light blue oscillator, and typically cross down below the slower pink oscillator, at the same time at some point as well. And with each and every one of those examples, we do have a drive down on the weekly to, at the very least, the yellow 21 exponential moving average in just about every case, and in some cases we actually go a little bit lower over time. But this one right here, starting off with example, well, let's actually go to BLX index. We'll start off with this example right on over here. Number one takes about 2 months to actually head back down to the 21. This guy right here, almost instantaneously. This guy right here, about a week. So that's 3 examples. 2 weeks on this one. About a month on this one. It looks like to the 21. Again, the yellow moving average that we see on the weekly. This one about a couple months. This one right here about a week. This one right here about another week. This one right here, about a month and a half. This guy right here, about a couple weeks. This guy right here, about 2 months, it looks like. So on the low end, about a week. On the high end, about 2 months. This is a sample size of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 throughout the history of Bitcoin that have provided a 100% accurate signal, which all have come down at the very least to the yellow 21 exponential moving average. By the way, just as an aside, BLX index has not updated yet, so it still actually shows that we're still on this current weekly dildo. So it doesn't look as bad just yet, but it will get there. Don't worry. Don't fret, my friends. Anyways, my point is that yes, the yellow 21 exponential moving average is where it's right around 8200-ish region, which again, a little bit lower than where I think most people are looking towards, but anything around the mid 8,000s is essentially where I think, the majority of eyes are at right now, where a lot of resting bids most likely are. Typically in that scenario, you either get one of two things. You either get front ran, meaning actually might even have the low end right now, maybe gets front ran at like 8,800, 8,900, something like that, and frustrates all of those people looking for a few $100 lower, who then need to buy in a little bit higher, and that's just kind of how markets work sometimes. Or we get overshot where all those people at about 8,500 get filled, and then run that train, baby, fucking liquidation party all the way down, population all bullish bungholes on this massive bearish engulfing popsicle stick. Sorry, getting a little bit excited right now. Shish kebabbing all sorts of bearish dildos inside of bullish bungholes. Sounds like something you might see on XXX, but my point is that yes, there are tentacles certainly pointing down here. It's not like people are just pulling this out of their ass and it's coming from nowhere. It is legitimate, no doubt about that. If we go over here to Finex once again on my longer term chart, or sorry, not my longer term chart, but just my fresh chart, we can put on a nice Fibonacci retracement from the ultimate low of 2018 to, or I guess I already have it on over here. Yeah, from the ultimate low of 2018 to the ultimate high of this run thus far, we see the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement coming in right around where? Right around 8,500. Guess what? this is also a descending triangle. Where's the measured move on the descending triangle? Hey, is that 8,500? Oh my God, that's 85 fucking hundred. Wait, let's go on CMEs. Do they have the same formation going on right over there? Oh my God, does the CME have a descending triangle going on? Oh fuck, it is going right down to that gap. Gap boys vindicated. And cue music. There you go. It's got to be like some sort of Gap Boys song. It's like, it's just something so fucking dumb. Like, yeah, we the Gap Boys. Gap Boys here represent getting wrecked left to right 2 months straight. Wow. Wow. I am a complete moron. So thank you for bearing with me right now. No pun intended. But yeah, CMEs also do kind of provide the same sort of signature. And I do put a lot more weight on CMEs. Obviously, descending triangle going on right here. More statistically likely to break out to the downside. Doesn't mean they always do. I've certainly seen my fair share of descending triangles break out to the upside, but a lot more rare for sure. More importantly, we have a very nice and well-defined area to kind of judge this off of. Any sort of a 4-hour dildo close below about 94.80, 94.90 region, or any wick below this area right here at about 91.95. So that's not too helpful. But it closed below this area, and yes, I'd be looking for a movement in this region right here. You will have a point of interest just a little bit higher, right around here. I'd imagine there's probably going to be a little bit of counter trend pressure right there. I don't know where that would line up on spot. Let's go check it out. Spot's going to be lining up with, sorry, on the potential descending triangle. Spot's area would be right around about 9,400 to 9,350, and that same area that we just spoke about as a potential front run candidate would be around 8,900. It looks like, yeah. So overall, you know, these things do seem to line up with each other. There certainly are a lot of things kind of pointing in that direction. And of course, if you watch pretty much any one of my videos from the last week and a half to 2 weeks. It is worth mentioning, I won't show it here, but it is worth mentioning that the 4-hour dildo death cross certainly is very much engaged and is very much valid and operational. And I'm talking about the green 50 exponential moving average right here and the purple 200 exponential moving average right here. And if you go to the past videos, or if you just want to take my word for it right now, but you should verify. I've actually gone through all of the past golden crosses and death crosses in a general upwards market, which, yes, this is certainly still very much a general upwards market, right on over here. You know, for the last 6 months, and the results have come to kind of an average of usually taking about 2 weeks from death cross to golden cross, which that's essentially going to be my next big signal. You know, waiting for the golden cross on these time, on this time frame, and then 2, it usually plays out as much as 20% down from the not from the cross, but like price action on the cross, or when the cross happens, or to, you know, in some cases the low is already put in. So in this scenario, I mean, it could be that we actually put in the low right here, you know, possible. But if we were to shave off 20% off this current price action, where would that put us down around? Gap boys back, baby. We fucking back with these gaps. Except again, you know, a million and one things pointing there. Probably gonna be a bunch of comments on this video saying, "Hey man, I didn't like when you yelled." It's like, you're on the wrong channel. I understand. I totally understand it, you know, if it's not for you, but you're on the wrong channel. Anyways, let's go check out GBTC. I'm curious how he closed for the day. I'm going to imagine not too hot. Yeah, closing on the lows, not the best signal. Yeah, let's looking at it right here. Do we actually have new lows, though? Do we have new lows on this formation? And I believe we do. Yeah, we do by about 2 cents. But more importantly, we still have yet to break this green 50 exponential moving average right here on the daily. Until that breaks, it just makes it difficult to get bearish. You know, you see that Bitcoins and GBTC are all just resting on major supports. What's the big thing that you don't want to do? You don't want to fucking short support. You also don't want a long resistance, but right now we're on support, so probably don't want to do that one either. It doesn't mean that I can't break, but as a as a trend trader, especially going against the overall macro trend, I'd have to be careful with that. You know, I'd have to be careful with that, and I'd rather just kind of wait. Like I said, I'm not even interested in shorting spot on this. All I'm going to be doing, for full disclosure, just shorting options, man. It's been pretty damn profitable for the past few weeks. I think we did 3 Bitcoin a little bit over 3 Bitcoin last week, and 2 Bitcoin the week before. This week already at a Bitcoin and a third about. So I do have so I just want to show the kind of pressure off mentality of trading options. That's I can't imagine trading without them, really. I feel like it's kind of like cheating in a sense. You know, you can almost be completely wrong on direction and still make money, which is silly in a way. Let's go check out the CoinMarketCap top 200. On NASDAQ, we're actually seeing the same sort of descending triangle right here. Obviously, same sort of massive gap in price action coming back from, this one's different. This one's actually 10th of May. You will notice that if you're looking at the same gap from 14th of June, that has been filled on this. So that is a counterpoint to all the bearishness. You could say that the coin market cap top 200 has already filled it. Does that really count for what Bitcoin's doing? No, it doesn't. And this is extremely new, and I don't put all that much weight on it. Worth talking about? Sure. In the future, will it hold some weight? Yes. For right now, not really. And remember, like most of the things in this market are still bullshit. There's certainly plenty of amazing things, don't get me wrong. But when we're talking about the top 200 on coin market shit cap, I mean, shit, man, if you go even past like page 1, you're already in a different world. You're in a different world of literal, like, they're not shit coins. They're shit coin chain chart fuck cunt. No, sorry. Oh my God, man. Said the fucking C word right there. Jesus Christ. Sorry about that. Do apologize. But my point is, my point is that these are just, most of the things, included on this are, we have a white paper. It's like valuation 100 million in doggy coins. It ain't fucking good. That's my point. In the future though, when and this space is gonna grow from here, or at least I would imagine it probably does. This probably will become legitimate. Maybe not to the top 200, maybe like the top 20, maybe like the top 10, perhaps. But it's fun to look at for right now. Okay, so we spoke about all of that. Let's go down to let's go back to Bitcoin spot. I want to talk a little bit more about the lower time frames here. Okay, so blue box territory to the downside, 4 hour, any sort of a 4 hour doodle close below this guy right here, which is essentially on average about 9,400. Then yes, I'd be looking for a breakdown. It's technically the lower bound of this, about 93.85 if you want to get super exact. It is worth mentioning, however, though, that the 12 hour Stokes are starting to turn around, and I really dislike trading against these guys right now. So this is kind of just another thing suggesting that we probably do bounce off this area first and foremost before anything else. We see 12 hour Stokes actually looking like they want to confirm it, and they will confirm it on the next hour and 6 minutes. Granted, we don't actually just fall through the fucking floor right now, which is possible. I mean, we're still getting held back by the red 10 simple. But my point is that the 12 hour Stokes have been extremely good at getting this whole consolidation. They've got all of the highs, they've got all the lows. Actually, the last cross to the downside happened on the 22nd of July, getting this move here from about 10.6 to where we pretty much are right now. The last cross to the upside coming right over here on the 16th of July, taking us all the way from here from 9,200 to 11,000, it looks like. So about $2,000 move. Time before that was a cross to the downside, getting this top essentially from 13,000 down to 9,000. So $4,000 move right there. The last cross to the upside was right here on the 2nd of July on this guy, leading us up from about 10,000 to 13,000. Another $2,000 move. So you get the idea. They've been pretty fucking good. That's my point. And right now we're crossing back up to the upside, and this has been pretty much infallible. Now we do get some snakes around in these regions, absolutely yes, but if on this next tick you see these guys gain momentum away from each other on the upside, if they diverge to the upside, that's going to be a pretty damn good indication that this is, likely a good reversal point, at the very least for a short-term reversal, and probably pop back up. And I think testing like 96.50 would be quite likely, but probably somewhere around the yellow 21 exponential moving average. Do we also have bullish divergence here? I believe we might. Come on, trading view. There you go. I believe we actually might. Yeah, we do have a very, 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 very slight amount of bullish divergence here. It's nothing, certainly nothing to write home about, but it is present. But usually I look for a test of the red 10 symbol after that, and we've already got that. So that sounds kind of already tapped. It's not strong. Do we have anything to be aware? Or perhaps we could do this. I want to shout out to Abs in the program Discord for pointing this one out. We do have a nice. We do have a nice falling wedge on 12-hour RSI as well. Something like this is what's going on right now. You could, no, is it like this or is it like this? No, that's obviously not a wedge, but you could say like this would work, but that would suggest that we actually come down once again. So fair enough. If we do have another down, well, that probably does put in the low and probably can come in somewhere right around this region right here. But it is present, and we do actually see things following that that way. And I do put a lot more weight on formations on RSI rather than I do on price action. Anyways, bringing these guys back up. Do we have anything to be aware of on the Joule? I'm going to go across all the different time frames. 12-hour, no. What about maybe a 4-hour? 4-hour kind of tightening up, but still no, I would say. What about 3-hour? Tightening up, but still no. What about 2-hour? 2 hours starting to get picked up. What about hourly? hourly starting to get picked up as well, but I don't see any like obvious signals in and of itself. I don't see any obvious. There's no real buy signals on the jewel on those time frames. Maybe what about a 6 hour? Let's just go in between these two. Nah. Well, we did get a buy signal on the low so far, right here. I guess this was yesterday. Yeah, this was yesterday. But since then, no. And in fact, the 6 hour is about to death, or sorry, is death crossed here. The thing is, though, is that the death cross. A lot of people are talking about this. The death cross on the 6 hours is kind of irrelevant. If you go to the past examples, price action had more or less put in the lows and was already gaining momentum to the upside after death crossing it. So I think the 4 hour is actually the best one to kind of judge the medium to low time frames. The other time frames just don't seem to get it as well. I want to talk about something else that I think everyone's kind of gotten the tip of their tongue, and that is the 3-day time frame. We're going to talk about the 3-day the 3-day golden cross, which is actually going to happen I think tonight. We are going to be closing this 3-day later tonight, I believe. Let's actually put this on. We'll do the 200 and we'll do the 50 as green. Yeah, we'll do it as green. I'm gonna need to make it the 50 right on over here. There we go. It's going to be the white and the green, and the white's going to be the 200, the green's going to be the 50, and these are both simples, of course. I don't really care for simple moving averages, to be quite clear. We got the golden cross and the exponentials like way over here when Bitcoin was at the 7,000 level, and I think that was a much better signal. This guy right here, the price action's very far away from the actual cross itself. To me, that's actually a bad sign. More importantly, when we do see these actually cross each other, which I'm not quite, probably does happen on this next tick tonight, but might happen on the one after that. I think it happens on this one most likely. More importantly, we actually really want to see price action fall into the cross. A good example would actually be the last golden cross that we had right on over here. You see how price action is being pulled in. You see them both crossing each other, and price action is essentially hovering right around that cross, and then it rallies off the test of the green 50 simple. That's very important to understand, because that tells you that the Boston algos are actually supporting that cross, and if they're supporting that cross and they're actually on the buy side of this equation, then well, you can see the results after that. It's the next 3 years just straight to the upside. Whereas right on over here, you can see price action is extremely far away from this cross. Granted, we don't drop down about $1,000 before the daily double close. We've seen crazier things happen. To be fair, seen crazier things happen. But but my point is that this is far and away from a perfect cross, regardless. So I just don't put that much weight on simple moving averages. The golden cross on the exponentials was way on over here during this consolidation. I think that was a much bigger deal, but it would align with a more long-term trajectory of this asset just generally being to the upside, which I think most people would. I think most people are on the same page as that to begin with. I'm not on any sort of a I'm not on any sort of a thought process that Bitcoin is anything but bullish on the macro, especially as long as we are above. And key point, I'm not just saying that blindly. There's a key point to this. As long as Bitcoin's above the yellow 21 on the weekly, I'm not bearish on any asset long term as long as it's above the yellow 21 on the weekly. That's generally saying that the trend is the upside. Even if we broke that area, yes, I would go into a more long term, more long term downwards look. But from like the super macro view on the monthly, I'd still need to see us actually crack below, especially the 7,500 to maybe like 7,200, we'll call it. Basically, this trend line right here essentially is what I'd be looking towards. It's the same trend line that I've been pointing towards on Bitstamp, the Genesis trend line that these two red arrows are pointed towards, which has essentially gotten all the phases on Bitcoin more or less perfectly. And we do see that when it started off in 2011 to 2013, whenever Bitcoin was below it, as an investor, it was a great time to accumulate. As a trader, it's a great time to sell on this trend line. Once we actually take out this trend line to the upside, boom, there's your investments going straight to the fucking moon. Parabolic 1, parabolic 2, blow off your top. And then where do we come down to? Literally for the next 2 years to base off of this same goddamn trend line. So it tells us that that is getting played off of. Then in 28, then we go, blow off our top once again. Then we come back down in 2018, right? And actually break this trend line. That was also breaking the purple 200 exponential moving average on the weekly, very, very important as well, to the downside, and we go into another semi-long-term accumulation phase, very similar to what we saw right on over here. In fact, just about the same price action, really, in this area right here compared with this area right on over here. And then what happens after we break this trend line to the upside? Massive parabolic move once again. I mean, we basically 2x after that. And where this trend line be coming in around? About 8,400, 8,500. So I'd say, especially as long as we're above this trend line as well, I don't really see any sort of reason to be like long-term bearish or looking for like a significant pullback. And then below this, like I guess the last fails. I mean, if we broke this area, it would also break the weekly 21. I'd pretty much be in, I'd certainly not be bullish anymore. Bearish, I'd probably be on the more bearish side, absolutely. But I'd say like the last of the Mohicans would be right here at the 618 fib at 7,200, also confluent with the 3-day 200 simple, which actually has gotten price action pretty damn well. You do see that it's a swipe moving average here. When we lose it, bad. When we gain it, good. Lose it, bad. Gain it, good. If we lose it again, probably bad. But generally speaking, or not generally speaking, but for the history of Bitcoin thus far, when we gain the 200 simple, we gain it for a long time. When we lose this 200 simple, we lose it for a long time, and we literally just gained it to the upside. So I think it would be pretty uncharacteristic for Bitcoin to actually like legitimately reverse here to new, I mean, even coming down to like 6,000 or even below there. Is it possible? Yes. Is it probable from what I'm looking at right now? Not really. It's just as a trader, I'm not trading for it right now. I'm not really doing too much trading at all right now. I'm just trading options, really. Anyways, we spoke about that. I think probably enough. We didn't check out the lower time frame oscillators. I'm curious how they're doing. If we can bring them up, that'd be great. There we go. We see 4-hour Stokes to the upside right here, but they will be meeting this trend line. So we're kind of at a do or die scenario, right? Sorry, I've all sorts of trend lines here right now. So we're kind of at a do or die scenario right now. And let me explain this. So this trend line is coming in right at the edge of the bearish control zone. So by the nature of it, if we actually get rejected from it, tells us that bears are still in control. and more importantly, the 4-hour Stokes have, or did I say RSI? I mean Stokes. The 4-hour Stokes have actually been a pretty good insight into price action, but more importantly, price action here has been flat. And we're seeing the Stokes come up. So it's actually just the price action is allowing the Stokes to reset. So that would be the more bearish interpretation of them. At the end of the day, I don't think this is the time to be a mental masturbator with regards to kind of interpreting a move before it could actually happen. If you are going to be bearish, especially on this move right here, I would really only consider taking like actual shorts if we could break below this area right here at about 9,400 close, at the very least a 2-hour dildo below there, preferably a 4-hour dildo below there. Then yes, can start talking about those moves much lower. For right now, I do think that I do think the lower timeframes are quite well defined. We have our support right around 9,400. If you want to talk about like the very, 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 very short term, resistance right around 9,630, 9,650-ish region, kind of the same area that we've gotten all these wicks around. Also your 4-hour 21. But more importantly, if we do break above this area, which the 12-hour kind of suggests that we do, then I would be looking for a test. Well, probably on this trend line here, which would be coming in actually around the same area, to be fair, about 9,750. So nothing really changes below 97.50 from even like a very short-term look. But if we took it out, would it be game over for the bears on this move? I mean, you kind of see that I have a what's it called, a falling wedge plotted in here. I really dislike falling wedges. They have a very low hit rate in my experience, especially with cryptocurrencies. But it would be a more bullishly resolved pattern. More importantly, though, if we actually could break above the top side of it, there would be a measure move on it, which would actually be pointed all the way back up towards like 12,000, I'd imagine, just kind of eyeballing it. But I'd rather take things one step at a time, just especially as a trader. Like as an analyst, when you have no skin in the game, yeah, you can say target 12,000 and go fuck yourself if I'm wrong, because it doesn't matter. You're getting paid either way. But as a trader, you're only getting paid if you're right. And I'd say, if we do take this area right here, you can look at a measure move like that. But realistically, I'd say let's take it one step at a time. I'd be targeting a move towards about 10,000 after that, which is going to be confluent with resistance on CMEs, I believe, somewhere right around here. Yeah, about 10,000 right here. And CMEs actually did just death cross officially earlier today, so that would certainly be more on the bear side. But again, don't discount another move to the upside here. Maybe back up to like 99 or 10,000 before that momentum actually does take over. And like I said, I would switch to medium to long-term bullish. I would not be thinking bearish if we actually regain the daily 21 right here, which is again 10,200 and lowering with each and every passing tick. So we're kind of converging on each other, and time is running out for both sides. Likely we do see this move, like a move outside of this range, happen in the next couple weeks. And that's going to be the next big play for Bitcoin. I think with that said, I'll probably have to leave you off there and get it back tomorrow. But hey, do want to wish you all on this nice little Monday. I'll be back on tomorrow with some more video and live stream analysis. Looking forward to seeing you there. And like I said earlier, hey, if you want to, if you want to suggest any sort of topics for the psychological videos, I'm all ears. And also, I mean, perhaps even more importantly, could give me something to learn as well. If someone's like asking a question, I don't know if the fucking answer, or at least if I don't feel confident, that's something that I probably want to look into. So again, very much welcomed, and take care. See you soon.